Hey everyone, I'm Roland Ryan, and today I'm going to be ranking every roller coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure from worst to best. This is my home park. I've been going here for as long as I can remember, and I'm really excited to be doing this ranking. This list is going to be my opinion only, and please know that my opinions could always change in the future at any time. So with that being said, let's get into this ranking. Now, this shouldn't really come as too much of a surprise, but in last place is Little Devil Coaster. This is a Zamperla family gravity coaster. It's meant for little kids. It's less than 10 feet tall. It's not very fast. The entire layout is really just one helix. It's a very small ride. The kids will most likely really enjoy it, but if you're a thrill seeker, you're not really going to get too much out of this ride. At number 13, I have Harley Quinn Crazy Train, the Zero Family Coaster. Now, this ride isn't much, but it's still a slight step up from Little Devil Coaster. It's a little bit taller, a little bit faster, but it's still a normal family coaster. One funny thing about this ride is that it actually has very long trains, and it's actually pretty funny to watch. But still, the little kids will probably enjoy this. But if you're a thrill seeker, there's definitely better options in the park if you want to have a really good time. At number 12 is Skull Mountain, the intimate indoor family coaster. In terms of thrill level, I feel that this ride is a little bit more tame than some other people think, but it still has two qualities that put this ahead of Little Devil and Harley Quinn. Being in the dark is very fun, and the first drop is amazing. If you sit in the back car of the train, you get a surprise pop of ejector airtime. Unfortunately, the rest of the layout does not live up to the strength of the first drop. It's mostly made up of slow helixes and janky transitions. I think that Skull Mountain is a good preparation for the more thrilling rides that the park has to offer. Coming in at number 11 is the Dark Knight Coaster. This is a mock Wild Mouse that is indoors just like Skull Mountain. Just like all the Wild Mouse coasters, the hairpin turns provide strong laterals, but for me, the best quality of this coaster is its theming. There is a very cool pre-show in the line, and there is even more theming during the ride. There are many lights, noises, and references to the Dark Knight movie. And that's really all I have to say about the Dark Knight, so let's head into the top 10. At number 10, I have Runaway Mine Train, the Aerodynamics Mine Train. This ride is very old. It opened with the park in 1974. Despite its age, it manages to be a pretty fun ride and, in my opinion, the best family coaster in the park. For a mine train coaster, it's very tall and fast. I know that many people think this ride is rough, and while I do agree with that, I think that this coaster's finale more than makes up for it. There's a small bunny hill that shockingly provides great ejector airtime and a very visually pleasing turnaround over a pond to head back into the station. While this ride can get pretty rough at times, I still think it's a decent experience. Coming in at number 9 is the Joker. This is your typical SNS 40 free spin. The flips are intense, and you get a different experience every time you ride because of the design of the 8-passenger trains. However, I am not a huge fan of this ride. I think it's too short, and I really don't like the restraints. They're normal vest restraints, but it just feels like every time I ride, they always come down so tight on my body. The reason this places in front of the family coasters, though, is because it has very intense flipping and a very fun disorienting nature. But if it weren't for that, I would honestly place it a lot lower. At the number 8 spot, I have Superman Ultimate Flight, the B&M Flying Coaster. This is a unique ride because it's supposed to simulate the sensation of flying, and I think Superman does that very well. For me, the highlight of the ride is the pretzel loop. It provides some sustained and intense positive G-forces. The rest of the layout is a series of bank turns, and while they are fun, I do feel that they're kinda slow and don't provide many forces. That's really all I have to say about Superman, so now it's time to get into what I think is a very controversial pick for number 7. Coming in at number 7 is Green Lantern, the B&M stand-up coaster. This ride actually used to operate at Kentucky Kingdom as Chang, but it got relocated to Six Flags Great Adventure in 2011. I know, this ride is supposed to be absolutely terrible, but I actually don't mind it. The layout is decent, and I actually think it runs pretty smooth for an old relocated ride. However, the one thing that I do agree with that's on the negative side is the restraints. If you run this ride, you know what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. At number 6 is Batman the Ride, the B&M invert. This ride may not be very tall, fast, or long, but the layout packs a punch. All the inversions are very intense and snappy, and I always find myself graying out at some point during the layout. My favorite parts are the wing over inversions at the end of the ride. Every time I walk out of the exit, I always feel a little bit dizzy just because of how intense this ride is. Starting off the top 5 is Medusa, the B&M floorless coaster. This ride has 7 inversions and they are all very well done. This ride also has a few special effects that are really cool. These include mist effects, head choppers, and if you're lucky, a fire effect that occurs while you're going through the dive loop. Another great thing about this ride is that it almost never has a wait. It's tucked in the very back of the park, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the general public doesn't even know this ride exists. This may be a surprise for some people, but at number 4 I have Jersey Devil Coaster, the RMC Raptor. This ride is really good, but I do think it's a little bit overrated. For me, the best spot to sit on this ride is the back row, because you get extra airtime on the first drop, the drop off the turnaround, and the drop off the mid-course. Jersey Devil also has 3 very good inversions. The dive loop provides a weird combination of airtime and laterals, the stall provides some very good hang time, and the zero G roll is very floaty. I know putting Jersey Devil at the number 4 spot may seem a little bit low for some people, but for me it just shows how good the top 3 at this park is. Coming in at number 3 is Kingda Ka, the Intamin Strata coaster. This is the world's tallest and second fastest roller coaster. It uses a hydraulic launch system to reach 128 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. The train then shoots up the 456-foot tall top hat. However, you can only take in the amazing view for a split second because you're about to head into the 418-foot spiral drop. Then, riders get some very sustained floater airtime over the ride's massive camelback hill. While this ride can get pretty rough and shaky at times, I think that the sheer intensity more than makes up for it. At the number 2 spot is Nitro, the B&M hypercoaster. This ride is absolutely amazing. It's a long, thrilling ride with tons of floater airtime that even throws in a very intense upward helix. One of the best qualities of Nitro is its setting. It travels out into the woods and is very secluded from the rest of the park. This quality also provides for a very good night ride as it gets very dark back there. Nitro will always be a special ride for me, but there is one ride that stands above the rest as the king of roller coasters at this park, if not the entire world. At number 1 is El Toro, the Intamin prefabricated wooden roller coaster. This ride is truly legendary. It has one of the best first drops ever, some of the most powerful and sustained ejector airtime ever, intensity, head choppers, and crazy rapid fire twists and turns. This is the best ride at Six Flags Great Adventure and one of, if not, my favorite roller coasters ever. I know that the one downside of this ride is that it can get pretty rough, but I don't think it really takes away from the experience. My advice for anyone that doesn't like the roughness of El Toro is to sit in a non-wheel seat, which is the middle row of every car. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you rank these roller coasters. I know that in 2024, which is next year, Six Flags Great Adventure will be adding a Vekoma Super Boomerang called the Flash Vertical Velocity. Once that opens, I will see how it stacks up to the roller coasters already at the park. That's it for this video, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Rollin' Ryan. See you next time.